I always find myself in the middle of that. Do you give extrinsic motivation to get them to do you bribe them to do their work? They should be grown up enough to do it because it's the right thing to do. But then I find that I'm sometimes not that either. So what do you expect out of a 10-year-old? And it seems like, at some point down there, extrinsic motivation is necessary. They should grow out of it. And at what point should you expect them to do that? And I'm never quite sure. So we try different things. But it does seem that by the time they get into high school, they're pretty self-motivated. And most of them are really, really on top of their work and take it seriously. We do a few different things to keep students motivated. One is if they get their goals done today, they get an extra 15 minutes of recess tomorrow. If they don't have homework at least 4 days this week, then they get an extra 45-minute recess next Friday. There's honor roll. We usually do a little field trip for that. A few different things that it's not been a real big problem. There's always a student or two that you're scratching your head trying to figure out how to keep them motivated and what. I suppose you have the same deal with a conventional type setting. It's probably different students. Different ones probably operate better in the different settings. In a setting like this, the homework's not really part of the grade. And so if you don't do your homework, if you just mess around all day at school and don't get your work done, and then you don't do your homework, then what do you do with that? How do you get them to catch that back up and not get farther and farther behind? What do you use for punishment or whatever? And the best thing that I've done is in the last few years, I decided to attach it to their test grades. And if they don't have their homework done, it's 2% off of their final test grade in that subject, whatever subject it is, if they don't do their homework. That has helped a lot. I give them 2 free times a quarter. Incomplete homework, no questions asked, no penalty. I know stuff comes up. Yeah, try not to just give them the answer. There's probably occasions when I'm really in a hurry and it's just easy to give the answer, but no, usually just start back at the point where I think they don't understand and ask them questions and try to guide their thinking and or if they've got the work all worked out. Some of them have this habit of coming up with the wrong thing, so they erase all their work and then they put their flag up and ask for help. I say, no, leave all your work there. I can see what you're doing wrong and I know what to explain. I'll explain everything about this. You probably understand most of it. Usually got a sign turned around, or they added when they should have multiplied, or it's just something simple, and I'll tell them what row to look in and see if they can find the problem. Or if they just don't understand it, start back at the beginning wherever I think they don't understand it and ask them questions, help them to think through it on their own, and hopefully that helps. Sometimes just having them read the question out loud is all it takes because they didn't read it properly, or maybe they didn't even read it. I think the best thing to do for them usually is just make them look a little harder. Especially usually it's more like social studies, that type of thing. They're supposed to read the text and they're supposed to find answers, and now they read a reading story and here's a reading question and they're supposed to answer it. We answer their flag and say, okay, where did they talk about? Where's this at in the story? The story's 10 pages long. I'm not going to stand there and read it. Where did they talk about? I have no idea. Well, then you didn't read the story good enough. You have no idea where we talk about this. Read the story again, and if you still can't find it, put your flag up. But at least you got to give me the page where they talked about it. Or if I think I may narrow it down, social studies textbook or something. I may say it's on this page or this column. But try to help them understand that they're not going to get free answers. They need to put forth effort on their own. But I try to guide them to at least the right place to look.